So kind of going off the heels of the Celestia video, I wanted to talk about something that is very polarizing. Well, not really polarizing, but something I've kind of noticed that throughout the fandom in terms of like all-powerful characters. You know, when you talk about all-powerful characters like such as Superman, Q, Discord, Thor, Goku, characters like that. And some people say, certain all-powerful characters are boring because they're so powerful. At the same time, they say, oh, this character's so cool. I mean, let's take a look at people who say Superman's boring because of how powerful he is. And then, guarantee you that the same people will try to defend Goku or Q. Now, admittedly, this is very polarizing, because I think where people's love for powered characters come from is that mostly because we love to see, superheroes smash stuff most of the time. But there are other times where we think, being so powerful makes them unrelatable. I, however, would like to disagree on this point of view. Let's start out with the characters that are born with all-powerful, such as Q, Superman, and Thor. All of these characters were inherently born with their abilities. And you could say, oh, well, Thor wasn't born with his abilities, he got all his powers from Mjolnir. To which I say, he was born a god, so yeah, he gets the superhuman strength and whatnot from that. Whereas Superman, again, under the yellow sun, he was given his powers. And admittedly, I think some of my favorite moments with Superman are not when he's kicking ass, fighting, the likes of Zod or Brainiac in these fate-deciding world-ending kind of stories, these big brawls. But I enjoy my Superman when he's just, having fun, when he's just, hanging out around mortal men, when he's just talking to people. Those are some of my favorite moments. And I think it's kind of interesting, because when you have such a powerful character and you make him so human of a character, where you have him, like I said, some of my favorite moments are like when he's just talking to, Ma and Pa Kent, or he's just having a conversation with Batman or Lois about his day, and then things like that. That's what really make me gravitate toward the character. And on Thor's behalf, Thor has done some amazing stuff too. But I really enjoy, I enjoy when Thor's kicking ass, but also when Thor's, hanging out with all of his friends. This living god can hang out and be one of the regular Joes. I think one of my favorite moments is from the Dan Jurgens run of Thor, when he's actually, we're an event where Hogan, one of the Warriors 3, was badly beaten by the Wrecking Crew and left in a hospital, and Thor was in total distress, and of all people, a Catholic priest comes up to him and gives him a lot of comforting words, to which Thor's like, oh, thank you, most of your people, most people in your line of profession don't really like me because I'm a god. And the priest's like, nah, it's all good. You're one of God's children, and whether you know it or not. And I really like that. I really like when you have this kind of all-powerful character kind of confronted with, do we need God at this point? That's the thing with Superman, is like when you have this walking this almost living god among mankind, you can understand why Lex Luthor deep down is afraid of Superman. But on the other hand, you could look at him and see, some people go, if we have Superman, what's the point of religion? And I really do like, there's a crossover between DC and Dark Horse, where Superman met Madman, and Madman asked him right up front, you're so powerful, do you believe in God? And Superman responds with, I'd like to think that I'd like to think there's something beyond me out there. And I really like that. Again, I really like it when you have all this power and you make them human. And I think there's another reason why we kind of gravitate with characters like Goku, because unlike Superman or Thor or Q, Goku trained, but you have to understand that he was, but on the other hand, the other side of the spectrum, he was born with this inherent ability. He just trained and molded it. So when you think about it more, Goku was born with these abilities, and even though he trained with all that, he had that inherent talent inside of him. He just had the drive to keep training and, pushing his body further. And you could say, oh, well, humans could... No, they can't do that. They can't train and become all that. They can't. So Goku already had a step up of, even though, yeah, he trained to get where he was, but he still had the power locked inside of him. So does that make him... So Does that make him a bad character? Who knows? That's the same thing with Naruto. But with Naruto, most of his power comes from training and Kyuubi. Kyuubi is living inside of him, the Fox Demon. Although I haven't really followed the rest of Naruto at the end, so I don't know if Kyuubi's still in there or not. But yeah, most of his more MacGuffin powers came when he tapped into Kyuubi's power. The same thing with Ichigo. When Ichigo would tap into his hollow abilities, he still had that inherent ability inside of him. So, again, born with it. And then, accentuated further by training. So that's kind of a, thing you have to really look at this side of the spectrum, is that, are they, these characters still have a fan base around them despite being so powerful. It's the same thing with, characters like Q and Mr. Mixelplix, and, hell, even Uncle Grandpa, because they're, literally, they're omnipotent beings. They're these great and powerful omnipotent beings, but still, there's a fan base around them because of all that power, and I think that's kind of an attraction to it. When just imagine if you had Q's abilities for a day, like in that episode of Star Trek TNG where Riker got Q's powers. I think that's another thing why we sometimes kind of gravitate towards all-powerful beings, because in the back of our minds we could just think about all the things we could do with these abilities. We could just spend the entire day just thinking about, what if we could do this, or what if we could do that, and what if I could create this. There's just so many ways to really portray that kind of thought process, and I understand not everyone can really gravitate towards godlike beings because of, again, how powerful they are. I think it's how the character is written is the major point of I think that's what it really boils down to when you think about it, is that it all just kind of depends on how you write this character. I mean, again, like I said earlier in this video, some of my favorite moments with Superman is not when he's kicking ass, but when he's among mortal men, when he's just hanging out with his parent, with Ma and Pa Kent, or when he's just having a conversation with Lois about not really saving the world, but more like just talking about their day, or just hanging out with Jimmy Olsen. Being human. That's what I really love about Superman, is that he is a god, a god disguised as a man, and he can, if he wanted to, if he really wanted to, guys, he could, and, we've seen this in Elseworld stories, he could easily just flatten the whole world. Remember Superman Red Sun? Yeah. So you really have to, look at it in that perspective, and this can go in the same direction of all these other characters. I mean, if Goku wanted to, he could turn right around and kill everybody if he really wanted to. But I think, again, it depends on how the character is written. And Goku is a very fun-loving, albeit dull-witted kind of character. Admit it, guys. We know he ain't too bright. He ain't. High school graduate, he is not. Let's put it that way. Is he still a good character? Yeah. Is he, not the brightest character? Yeah. Who do you think does more of the thinking? Him, Piccolo, or Vegeta? Give you a hint, it ain't Goku. But still, he is a good character. He still tries to do right by everybody, and he still knows that inherent sense of right from wrong. So I think that's, again, why people gravitate towards him, or, characters like Naruto or Ichigo. Again, it's all this power, but they still, even though, again, I'm not the biggest Naruto or Bleach fan, I'm sorry, if you enjoy Naruto or Bleach, that's totally fine, no ill will against you. Me, personally, I'm not the biggest fan, but I can understand the fan base from it. So with all this, so you guys tell me, what do you guys think of, how do you perceive, all-powerful characters? Do you guys like them? Do you guys hate them? And, what are the reasons for that? And why do you think people have these love-hate relations with certain all-powerful characters? Really curious to see what you guys think up for this one. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this vid, and I will see you guys later.